Hi, everyone. My name is Kashara Davis. I'm the auditions coordinator here at Northwest School of the Arts, and I am excited to be representing Northwest School of the Arts today in our family night presentation for our prospective feeder families. Welcome to our presentation today. We are going to be sharing with you a little bit about our programs. You'll hear from a couple of our teachers of our art staff here in the school, and we are also going to have an opportunity to answer any questions that you have today. You can feel free to send your questions in to the school and just this is an opportunity for us to share some information about not only our school and our auditions process, but to give you a behind the scenes look at what it's like to be a student at Northwest School of the Arts. We are going to start first with a short and brief video for you, and then we are going to hear from some of our art staff. And then we're going to wrap the meeting up, and hopefully this will give you all the information that you need to visit our website, NWSAauditions.com, where you can locate audition requirements and everything that you'll need to start the process. So again, thank you for being here, and we're going to get started with our brief video. Here we go.
Northwest just has this certain creative vibe to it that I haven't really seen at other schools. If I had a friend that wanted to go to Northwest, I would say definitely do it if you are passionate about what you love to do. You have to be able to not only be passionate about what you love, but be able to put in the work here.
The vibrancy of the students here at Northwest is pretty off the charts. I look for what I perceive as being their best levels and their best work, and then try to push them a step beyond that.
We regularly have students that graduate with honors, that go to Carolina, that go to the most prestigious schools, especially the most prestigious art schools. But it's our job to prepare them for whatever they might want to do, and we can't do that unless we're competitive.
Balancing all of your academic classes at Northwest and your major, it does take a lot of effort and dedication. So of course, academics are always first. Miss Sears and all of our staff here are very serious about if you're failing in one of your academic classes or enough of them, you'll go on academic probation. And so that means you basically can't do any of your major stuff. So you definitely have to put in the work in your academic classes.
People wouldn't think that an art school would have such great academics. I mean, we have a 100% graduation rate, and these kids that go here are extremely talented, and you wouldn't expect that they would be smart along with that too.
When you're on that stage, you get a really, really great idea of what it's like to be on a professional stage, and with the lights and the tech, and it's a lot of majors coming together, where it's peril or set and musical theater and straight theater, and even the tech people are all in one space together, working together to create a beautiful piece. So it's really great to be on stage.
It's been my experience in teaching that sometimes students will come to a visual arts class and expect it to be boring or structured because they're in school and they've been sitting for a long time in their math class and their science class and what have you. But I try to make sure that my students are engaged and they're learning at the same time.
But here they have to work on a team, because almost everything we do here is team-oriented. And they're going to meet people with vastly different experiences and vastly different interests. And it can be pretty exciting. It can be a little intimidating sometimes too, because you're used to being in your comfort zone. But to some degree, art is all about being brave enough to move out of that comfort zone.
Sometimes when I torture them, when I'm saying do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, there is that willingness to keep doing it. The students don't give up, and they're really striving towards mastery.
All right, so that was a little bit about the school, and in that video, you should, that was to just give you a little bit of insight about the school, and you were able to hear from some of our staff and students about their experience. Here's a little bit more about our school. We offer about 10 different majors that you see in front of you, from band, orchestra, piano. Students can major in any of these majors. And this is just a glimpse of today of what it's really like at the school. Um, each major that we have listed here, students can need to audition for. That audition is needs to be a passed audition. And after that, we go into the process that we are right now, which is going through the transfer process, and that's based on if there's available seats at the school. So today, we're really going to be sharing with you not only uh, information from some of the teachers who actually teach in each department, but you'll also hear from them, and they'll talk more about the audition process, requirements, and a little bit more about their programs. As we move forward, there's a little information I want to leave you with. It's very important that you visit our auditions website. This is where you can find more information about where to apply and where to locate audition requirements for your student. And it's very important to read over the audition requirements carefully with your child before you decide to audition. That being said, as soon as you decide that they do want to audition, go ahead and complete an audition request form so that you can we can communicate with you via email. And if we're not able to reach you via email, we will give you a call. So again, visiting NWSAauditions.com, completing an online audition request form, and beginning preparing your audition using the audition requirements. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move to our first presenter. She is one of our 3 dance teachers at Northwest School of the Arts. She's going to talk to you a little bit about our dance program, audition requirements, and just overall what it's like to be a student in our dance department. Miss Ashley Martin.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about our program. Our versatile faculty consists of award-winning educators and choreographers. Students receive quality instruction supporting one's personal technique, artistic expression, and a greater understanding of dance history, theory, and somatic practices. There are 2 areas of concentration as a dance major: ballet and modern technique. Students have the opportunity to take other genres, participate in annual productions, master classes by international guest artists, and alumni. Some of our alums have gone on to dance professionally for major companies like Parsons, Paul Taylor, Cirque du Soleil, and also some recording artists as well. Additional courses offered are tap, jazz, dance for stage, point, and electives for middle school students. Levels of competency start at beginning through advanced, proficient advanced. So about the audition process, please make sure that you do read the instructions carefully. There's a required list of terminology for the technique assessment. So be clear about the ballet terms and the instructions of demonstration for those. The terms that are covered in that assessment would apply to classical adagio as well as classical petit allegro. Make sure that you're fully visible in a well-lit area, dancing space without a lot of distractions in the background. And please read the instructions about audio requirements for solos. Solos should be exactly the duration indicated, as well as an original composition showing the scope of your abilities. So by all means, show us what your potential is, what your favorite genre is, but also remember the dance elements that come in a good dance presentation, like using your space, levels, projecting your energy, and as always, your appearance being very professional in the attire that we've requested. Thank you for allowing me to share.
All right, so we are going to move on to our next presenter. She is one of our 3 theater teachers here at Northwest School of the Arts. 4, I may be wrong, 4, I believe. One of our 3 theater teachers here at Northwest School of the Arts, Miss Maria Medico.
Hi, everyone. I am actually one of 6 theater teachers that we have here at Northwest. One of our theater teachers is dedicated to solely technical theater, which is a high school major that we offer. And then for middle school and high school, we also offer a drama major, which is in high school called theater. And we also offer musical theater for both middle school and high school as well. One of the classes that we offer for, you'll see on the slide, we have middle school drama 6, drama 7, drama 8, musical theater 6, 7, and 8. And then there is also an 8th grade performance company class. Middle school has the opportunity to work on a full-length musical every year, as well as participate in the North Carolina Theater Conference One-Act Festival. And there's a bunch of other performances that we work on during the school day and in class. All of our classes focus on building your training as a theater artist. So we're going to work on all of the different skills required of theater artists. We're going to work on acting, playwriting, voice work, movement work, directing, design work, all of that stuff. For high school, we have theater major, musical theater major, technical theater major. We also offer some classes in directing, playwriting, and a theater history and literature course. High school also puts on a musical every year. They also participate in the North Carolina Theater Conference One-Act Festival. We also have a bunch of other shows that we work on during the year in class as well. For the auditions, for musical theater, you would prep 2 songs and 1 monologue. For drama/theater, you would prep, if you are in middle school, 1 monologue, and if you're in high school, 2 monologues. Those monologues can be found on our website, NWSAauditions.com. You are required to pick a monologue from our list, but it can be any of the monologues from the list. It does not have to be specifically a girl monologue or a boy monologue. You can pick whichever monologue you would like. When we look at your audition, we want to see a memorized monologue that tells the story and shows us that you can create a character and that you can perform while telling the story. That is what we look for at your audition. For your audition into technical theater, you would put together a portfolio of some examples of your work, if you have any work in technical theater, as well as a resume. And there would be some questions for you to answer for that as well. That kind of acts as an interview. The information for that can also be found on our auditions website, NWSAauditions.com. And I forgot to mention, one of our other high school only majors is costume design, and that is part of our apparel classes at Northwest. That's all I have to say about our program. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Medico. So we're about to hear from our next presenter, Mr. Josh Cornwell. He is our Visual Arts Department Chair.
Okay, hey, I'm Josh Cornwell, and I was asked to kind of briefly talk about tonight the auditions process and the portfolio requirements for our program. And I was going to try to focus on our middle school, because I heard that most of the people coming tonight would be middle school, and our rising sixth. So I'm going to try to break down the process of our auditions and kind of give you guys some guidelines. And then I'll try to circle back to talk about some of our programs at the end. So the first thing I would say is it's exciting, right, when you're putting together your portfolio for the first time. And it can be a little daunting maybe for parents to help students put it together. And I'm going to try to help you guys think of ways that we can do it. So if we could stay on this slide. This is 2 resources that you guys can use. Is one, the auditions requirement, or the auditions website has all of the information that I'm going to talk about, and it will go into much more detail. We also have the Visual Arts Booster Club, which links back to the auditions website and shows a lot of things and talks about our Instagram and different programs and things that we're doing. So the first thing I want to do is talk about the audition requirements. So I'm going to look at the middle school portfolios because that's the first thing we're doing. With the middle school portfolios, you're going to have to hand in a couple of different things. So the first thing is you're going to need a landscape, you're going to need a self-portrait, you're going to need a sculpture, you're going to need a recent personal best. So that's just going to be, and all of this will be up here on that left piece that you had up there for a second. Your recent personal best, which is just the thing that you are most proud of that you've done that you can show. There's also a component with it that is the sketchbook, and that should show your research and your planning. Those are really some of the things that we want to see about how your creative process goes. And the last part of it is your written critique. So those are all the components that are going to be in your middle school portfolio. And for high school, it's a little bit different. You have to also add a still life and some perspective work, but it's still basically those components. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of advice on how to submit those things. So for the first piece, the images and the work. What we're looking for mainly is that you guys are showing us work that's based off observation, right? So we want to see a demonstration of your technical skills. We want to see, how you can break down form, how you could sculpt, how you could do different things to show us representational artwork. We would like you guys to be working from life or from a photo if possible in these, because that helps us assess your ability really at the first part. I know a lot of students like to hand in kind of some anime or some cartoons, and that's perfectly valid for art forms and illustration later as like a profession. But what we're looking for really is those observational skills at the very beginning. So that's the thing on the work. The second thing that we would like you guys to look at is that sketchbook part. So that's a separate component on how you end up and put it into the piece. And what we're looking for is to see how you conceptualize stuff. So think of like Leonardo da Vinci's like sketchbook where he has annotations, he has experimentations with different media, where there's different breakdowns of thumbnails of ideas of work that you're putting together. We want to see notation. So all of that should be in the sketchbook part, but it should also be reinforcing those main, landscape, self-portrait, sculpture, all that kind of stuff. It should be leading into that. So kind of your different stages of building it. The last thing would be that critique. So the main thing we want is a thoughtful critique, okay? There, if you go to the VAB website or to the auditions website, I believe there's a sample critique, but the main thing is that we want to see how you can talk about your work. There are tons of samples online. One thing that you're probably familiar with at your own school is using formal analysis, where people break stuff down into description, analysis, interpretation, and judgment. I believe that's the one that is also used on the auditions website. And what I would suggest for that is that you guys break each one of those down into a paragraph and describe things as best you can. Now, we're not English teachers. We're not looking for, grammar, but what we're really looking for in that written component is that you can logically present your ideas, that you can use your artistic vocabulary and talk about elements and principles and things like that. And we're also looking for you to be able to express ideas about concept and meaning and talk about your work in that light. So all of those are great. And especially with the sketchbook, I see a lot of students that have very strong work, but maybe that written component isn't quite there. And we want to make sure that everybody takes a chance to make sure that there's written parts in their sketchbook and that there's written parts also in that final critique. So those are kind of the things that we're looking for in the auditions. And again, all of this is on the website, and you can see the 4 different parts of the written critique there that will help you guys and be able to talk about it more. So briefly to kind of talk about the program for a second, I'd just like to say, that when I came to Northwest like 6 years ago, I was extremely impressed with the school. And I think one of the things that I noticed is it felt more like a collegiate environment, like an art school with like studio practices. And I feel like what our students get to do is they get tons of hands-on material. You can see the list of classes right here that we're working with ceramics, sculpture, metal and fibers, photography, darkroom photography, different types of printmaking, drawing and painting in 2D. We teach AP Art History, which gives you college credit as well. And then there's also AP classes for studio practices. Now, this may not happen in middle school as much, but a lot of teachers take those disciplines and put them into our middle school classes as well from these high school classes. So I'd say we also get the opportunity to work with local artists. We kind of collaborate with different institutions like the McCall Center or the Gantt Center, the Gantt Museum or the Mint Museum. We also have annual contests where students submit for scholastics and different types of contests where they participate nationally and regionally. We also have shows in our own galleries and as other venues like Art Pop and stuff like that happen. So I think when I have students come back from college, they always tell me, I feel like I did my first year in college, my first foundation year at this school because they've already done all of that work. And I think to me that says that we're doing something right. And I think it's a good place if you are trying to seriously pursue art. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Cornwell. I appreciate that. We don't have any of our music teachers today to represent the music department, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about some offerings for middle school. We have middle school chorus, which does require students to submit their warming up, solfege scales, My Country 'Tis of Thee, a prepared solo. So you really want to check those requirements. We also have a high school chorus, and those have very different requirements as well. We offer, we're one of the only schools that offers, still has a thriving piano program. Students can also start as a beginner in 6th grade. And so you, as soon as you can, get to the auditions website. Here's just a small preview of what some of the requirements that you can look forward to for piano, which includes identifying some notes and some keys, and a brief mini lesson with Ms. Donnell. That is one of our music auditions are, for the most part, virtual via Zoom. So in addition, all of our auditions are virtual, but piano, band, and orchestra are all via Zoom. Our band department has middle school and high school offerings. We have a wonderful band program, and our students do really well in that program. They get to travel all over to various festivals and competitions. But a prepared solo, as far as a short side reading activity and scale reading, is also required for our band audition. And last but not least, our school does offer a orchestra, our orchestra department, both for middle school and high school. We have an amazing orchestra. Our band and orchestra both have a website, the same boosters website, but for our orchestra audition, students will be required to go through scales and a required solo, as well as a solo of their choice. Again, those vary based on middle school and high school. Those are different requirements for both. So for all of our music programs, those auditions will be through Zoom. So when you request an audition, you'll actually get a time slot and a date for when a teacher will be able to meet over to you. So we'll get you that Zoom information so that you can meet with teachers live and play with them. And if you're a beginner, in some cases, it'll be treated as an interview. So not all of our music programs accept beginning students. So please be sure to check those audition requirements and read over those carefully. With that being said, our music department does so many things in the community. They have many partnerships, including one of our closest ones with the Charlotte Symphony and the Opera Carolina, music apprenticeships that we offer students, and the list just goes on and on. But our students really thrive in our music programs, and we really want to reach across the board to make sure that our feeder families know about what exists in their own backyard. All right, so with that being said, this presentation actually is available to anyone. If you go to our if you go to the bit.ly at the beginning of this presentation, let me just try to find it here. The bit.ly at the bottom of this presentation here, NWSA slideshow, that's where you can actually find the this slideshow. You can also go to the website for more information and to locate the audition information that you need. Again, my name is Miss Davis, and I'm the auditions coordinator here at the school. And I want to thank everyone for being here, all the teachers. And I want to, again, just reinforce going to our website, heading there now to schedule your audition, and make sure you're reading over the audition requirements. What we're looking for in students is their aptitude in middle school. And then in high school, we're looking for more of a sharpened artist. So we really are looking for students who are dedicated and have a passion, and just take a look at the audition requirements to determine if you feel comfortable. But we would love to have you. So thank you all again, and have a great day. Thank you.